Jozi My Beginning is a competition that inspires communities to find solutions to their daily problems. With the 50 million rand prize fund, the initiative aims to develop bright ideas from city residents that will benefit the public at large, enrich their lives, and create jobs. This is Jozi My Beginning. In this episode, we visit Tolstoy Farm, the once residence of Mahatma Gandhi. Charlotte from Inquisition gives us some expert entrepreneurial advice. We profile VC Eco Products' new fire retardant. And we speak to tech innovator Abu Kasim in the big interview. Ngiyanibingelela nonke and welcome to Jozi My Beginning. My name is Nozi Pompanza, and for the next half hour, we'll journey through Johannesburg's Community Innovation Fund. We'd love to hear from you throughout the duration of our show. So hit us up on our Facebook page, Jozi My Beginning, and tweet us at Jozi My Beginning. We're keen to hear from you, so keep on contacting us. Mahatma Gandhi once said, "Happiness is when what you want, what you think, and what you say are in harmony." His spirit of happiness and peace lives on today. We take a look at Tolstoy Farm, a former residence of his, to see how the youth are working together to bring the legacy of their community and the late, great Gandhi back to life.
We're in the deep south of Johannesburg, in a place called Loli. And the farm that we are standing on currently is called Tolstoy Farm, in which the great Mahatma Gandhi lived with his group of what we call satyagrahis, and many of them participated in the passive resistance. Gandhi's philosophy was simple living and hiding. They planted their own vegetables, they made their own clothing. The surprise is that they walked from Tolstoy Farm to Johannesburg and back on a daily basis. So a few years ago, there was a structure that existed, and you'd also seen Gandhiji's glasses, his slippers, some of his mere possessions was also in the house. Unfortunately, through vandalism and things were just so, the committees then just decided to keep the base of the house. The Indian consulate is also interested in working with the South African government to try and turn this into a heritage site. And the ideas that are coming about is to turn this into a garden of remembrance. We would like to link Tolstoy Farm with the Hector Peterson site in Soweto. So when we get tourists that comes to the country, they would be able to then use Soweto, come onto this route. People who have coffee here, we'll take them to the meditation, have lunch, have supper here. Gandhi left such a great legacy in our country, the Mahatma, the great soul. We thought we'll use this area in which young people could come from different race groups and have a dialogue about racism, how it affects them, and how they could use the philosophy of Gandhiji to try and unite people. You're now standing on site where the great Mahatma Gandhi lived. And what do you know about Gandhi? And how do we use his teachings for us to look at racism?
Gandhi advocated not only for Indians, but for a total liberation of all citizens of the country. Political liberation so that people make their own choices.
For us to fight poverty, inequality, we need to be educated. The richer get richer, the poor get poorer daily. So if we can share every project that we have amongst the world people, it must be world-based.
We got a challenge: inequality, poverty, and unemployment. Those are the three evils that we got. Now we must close that gaps. There is an economic opportunity as well that exists here. How do we convert this heritage site into a tourist destination?
If we can start in our areas where we're living, make people aware that there's this place, because I, for one, this is my first time coming here.
It's a natural habitat. Gandhi used to live basically in nature. And what I've learned is that he was an environmentalist as well. For this to be tourism site, we need to explain to the people how they've lived sustainably, sustainable agriculture.
Now, if Gandhi was an inspirator, that's what we want to do in this region. We want to inspire you. Maybe it requires that we need to work on some inspirational and motivational programs for young people so that the mindset can begin to start changing. So we got 16 wards in the region. How does El Dorado Park relate to Orange Farm? And how does Orange Farm relate to Lenasia?
I believe if we can have something like a cultural event whereby we will be able to invite every ward to participate as well as every race.
We need to call the young people under one roof, maybe do something like a arts and culture forum.
I think it would be important that from an early age, especially those that are growing, we bring them to this space so that they can learn the life and times of Gandhi, to say how did he manage to live his life in such a space.
There were soldiers which used to live in this farm, which were vegetarian, but there were not soldiers that carried guns.
Maybe that is why we never have these xenophobic attacks in Richinchi. Maybe his spirit is still with us because we still see each other as one.
Guys, may we never forget to celebrate our history, honor our heroes, and preserve our very own legacy. Remember, our website, JoziMyBeginning.co.za, is filled with articles and links to help you succeed in your business. The man behind our web magic is Brandon, and here he is with our hints and tips for this week.
If your focus is on business-to-business trading, you may find it tough to create content that appeals to your prospective audience. So I found these guidelines by B2B Network on how business-to-business brands should create content. Let's check them out. Firstly, stand out from your competition. Companies that train and empower their sales teams to use third-party content to build relationships and generate leads are the ones who win their customers' hearts and pockets. Companies that bring answers to the table and simplify the research process have the upper hand. The fact is, business-to-business customers are educating themselves long before they even reach out to other companies. So by employing content curation, your business has a better chance of standing out from your competition. Secondly, amplify your expertise. A good example is to write short reviews that can add value to your customers and prospects. By writing reviews, you position yourself as an expert and you show your willingness to share knowledge. People appreciate that. Next, make your B2B brand more human. With thanks to social media, B2B brands can now engage in two-way conversations. So when curating content, you show your followers that you care about their interests and you're not just interested in selling your own ideas. Lastly, stay informed on what's happening in your industry. You may find that you haven't got the time to write original content. By constantly sharing third-party content, you give your followers valuable insight. You stay informed on what's happening in your industry and it creates great opportunities for partnerships. So to summarize, stand out from your competition, amplify your expertise, make your brand human, and stay informed. That's all for hints and tips. You can find more on our social media pages. On Facebook, it's Jozi My Beginning, and on Twitter, @JoziMyBeginning. We're always looking forward to engaging with you. Until next time, keep focused.
So some of our CIF trainers joined us in studio to brainstorm through some ideas that could make your business more valuable to society. Next up, we have Talking with Tutors.
Hey, this is Talking with Tutors, and we have Ntiki talking to us today. How you go?
I'm good, how are you?
Good. We're talking about problems, the problems that entrepreneurs see, and they make a business to solve these problems. But what is a problem?
A problem is literally just looking at your community or wherever it is that you work and identifying gaps in the market that you can solve through a business, a product, an idea, a service, whatever it may be, or just re-engineering something that's already done. So finding a new way, a more efficient way to do something that people have already been doing.
And where do I find these problems though?
I think the first thing is to remember that we live in a global world, so a problem can literally be absolutely anywhere. So you can look at your community, the way you travel to work, maybe once you're at work, the places you shop, the places you engage with friends, you know, anywhere you go. Maybe it's something that you already use and you just like, actually this thing is a lot of admin, and if I could do it this way, it would be a lot easier. And so goes the business and the idea of solving something.
But some problems to some people, it's a need, some it's a want. What's the difference between these needs and these wants that we have?
Yeah, I think we all know this, like basic NS, EMS, that kind of stuff we did in school. But a need is just like something you can't go without. You know, so when you're thinking about people, it's food, it's shelter, it's clothing, it's the basic provision stuff that even if I don't have money at the end of the month, I will make a plan to make a way to make sure I can afford your service or your product. But a want is something I need, I desire. You know, like I feel like it. Maybe it's like an add-on to my shopping list. I don't really need it to survive, but I would like to have it. And I think when you think about your business and how it serves the market, that's something very important to take into account.
So it's like chocolate can sometimes be a want.
Chocolate is always a want. Unless you're supplying like a coffee manufacturer, then it might be something different.
That's so true.
Yeah.
So let's say you and I start a business, you want to start a hair salon. How do I make sure that the business that we have solves the problem that we have identified?
But I think you might see this as well. Sometimes you have a great idea, and to you this idea has to work, right? Because it sounds cool to you, it sounds fabulous, and you've gone the whole way of thinking about everything in between, and you have the bells and whistles, but you don't really stop to think about, does this serve a community or does it actually solve a particular problem? And if it does, do people really want to use it? You know, like, yes, it's great, I can have this kind of cover instead of that one, but do I really need like a waterproof cover or something like that? So really asking yourself is, if I introduce this product, this service, this particular experience to people, would it make a difference in their lives? And if it does, are they prepared to pay for it? And those are the things you need to ask yourself. And I think a lot of the times when you're really excited about something, you skip over all of that and you're just like, guys, use this, it's fabulous.
And can you think of any practical ways that when we want to do this market research that we can do it to find out what the problems are and will people pay for it, etc.?
I think anything about business, you know, you go and you ask the people, it's as simple as that. If I want to open a hair salon, like you said, and we pick this particular corner, you know, how sure are we that people traveling past this corner need a hair salon? Exactly. So we just go to that corner, we stand there, we ask people, like, if there was a salon here, would you come? You know, what kind of hairstyles would you want to do? How often would you like to come? How much are you prepared to pay for it? You know, would you come here because it's easier for you to travel? Is it on your way home, on your way to work? Like, why are people buying from this corner instead of the next one? And as you ask some questions, you'll find that other questions pop up, because then maybe new problems pop up in how you would actually solve the problem. And that's really not the way to go about it. So the more questions you ask, the more answers you get, and the more people you interact with, the better you can understand if your solution to the problem or the perceived problem is actually a thing. And also just think asking people if the problem's actually a problem. Because maybe in your mind you're like, I need a bridge here because I'm too lazy to walk around. And everybody else is like, actually, we don't mind walking around. It's perfectly fine. I need the extra exercise anyway. So I think asking those questions sort of helps to paint the picture for you.
Sure, perfect. Thank you so much, Ntiki. It was so
Thanks.
cool. We hope you guys learned something with us here with Talking with Tutors.
Coming your way on Jozi My Beginning, we get expert advice from a mentor. We bring the happenings in the news, and Abi Kasim of the Venture Network joins us in the big interview. Welcome back to the show that takes you behind the scenes of the 50 million Rand Community Innovation Fund. Remember, if you want access to our hints, tips, general competition information, or you just want to share your thoughts with us, do so on our social media pages, that is Facebook, Jozi My Beginning, and Twitter, @JoziMyBeginning. We would love to hear from you. The journey of learning is paved with many experiences, so it's a good idea to learn from those with more experience. Here's this week's mentorship session.
Hi. In the first video, we discussed the outcome of design, which is to leave a lasting positive impact on the world, and introduced you to the design process. Today, we'd like to give you 3 questions that will guide your design thinking. When designing, we talk about applying the lens of a designer, the lens being a way to look at something. There are 3 lenses which we apply in our design process. 1. Does your idea solve an actual problem? In other words, does it fulfill unmet needs for the people you want to design a product for? 2. Is your solution feasible? Do you have the skills and resources to bring this idea to life? 3. Lastly, is this project viable? Is it backed by a sound business model? Is it defensible? And is there enough of a market to warrant its creation? Be sure to visit our website for more interesting information that might help you with your startup. Thanks for watching.
Use our mentors as your teachers, and remember to go to www.JoziMyBeginning.co.za for more insightful mentorship videos. We all know that fires spread easily, especially in congested areas. CIF finalist Jonathan Frost has created a product which could make informal settlements much safer.
We are here at Zandspruit community. The news is full of reports where fires destroy large amounts of dwellings in the informal settlement. The impact is devastating, often resulting in loss of life and damage to property. It is more difficult for the families to rebuild their lives and homes.
My name is Jonathan Frost of VC Eco Products, together with my business partner, Peter Bottle. My partner and myself brainstormed and looked at solutions to how we could stop the spread of fires in the communities, and then hence we then came up with the product. If you plaster on any wall structure and metal surfaces at approximately 30 mils, you can get a testing of approximately between 1,000–1,100 degrees at a pinpoint fire.
I do now a pinpoint heating up to about red hot, which is in a region of about 1,200 degrees. We started experimenting to see about insulation, strength, and other possibilities of that material, to see what it can do and where we can use it in the industry.
Whilst it's glowing hot on the one side, the opposite side it'll be a lot cooler. You won't feel there's no transfer of heat through the product. And then it won't basically, like normal structures, burns down completely. This will basically bubble back, so it won't affect the full area.
We would like to apply the material onto the dwelling from the inside, covering the support beam structure, which will then prevent it from spreading from one dwelling to your neighboring dwelling, hence saving lives.
We would like to bring it into your housing sector, your entry level going up into your industrial sector. We would like to apply it through the means of a building block.
The building block, the shape was already developed beforehand, but then we managed to find that mold, and we then have done a mix of our VC product with other material as a binding material, and have made this particular building block.
If we could then build from scratch new buildings with the building block would be ideal.
So it is our aim to manufacture a mold and then start manufacturing the building block in injection molding.
We're currently running tests on the product at the moment, obviously to implement, to get it into the market. With our product, we would like to give to the communities a product which is eco-friendly, energy-saving, recyclable, cost-effective, and saves lives.
Any product that saves lives is truly a product worth investing in. We wish Jonathan all the best throughout his journey in the competition. Sometimes great innovators struggle to find the right place to present and market their ideas. Venture Network has found a way to fill this gap and bring investors to innovators and ideas to markets. Co-founder Abu Kasim tells us about his business journey in the big interview.
In studio, we have an entrepreneur from the Venture Network. His name is Abu, and he will be sharing all his knowledge that he has on entrepreneurship. Abu, now Venture Network, which brings different startups together and different businesses together, is based in Johannesburg, a commercial hub at the very Jozi hub. Can that business model work in a smaller community?
Absolutely. So what we've tried to do with Venture Network is showcase various resources available to startups across Johannesburg. So the next event is going to be hosted at Jozi Hub. We've hosted events at other resources as well. And within each hub, it's almost a community in itself. There are resources within that community that support entrepreneurs, help them grow and nurture them.
And with these different ones that come together, what can you suggest to be the perfect pitch? Because you're in a small community, not all of them have pitched before. So what ideas or what sort of tips would you give to a person pitching?
I would say be authentic, but at the same time be passionate, or display your passion on your company and on the topic that you're talking about. Entrepreneurs and investors in particular are looking for passionate people that will overcome the hurdles that are presented when they are presented, people that will pursue it with perseverance.
And I'm going to ask you to pick a favorite here and say, what has been your best idea that you've heard from these various pitches that you encounter?
So we've heard a number of ideas, and of all of them, I think that there's a company called Fitki that has presented a fitness solution. They were based in Cape Town, have since moved up to Joburg to expand their product offering here. And effectively what they do is they allow entrepreneurs, the community, to experience different fitness routines. So if, for example, today you want to do CrossFit and tomorrow you want to do wall climbing and then the following day you want to do Pilates, Fitki will allow you to do that based on one subscription model. I think it appeals to me because I've also got a passion for fitness and enjoy that the lifestyle.
Sure. And do you find that important, putting what you're passionate about into creating a startup or creating an idea?
Yes, absolutely. There needs to be the most important question in doing whatever you are doing as an entrepreneur is the why. Why are you doing this? And if you don't have the passion for it, you often find when times are tough that the driver is missing and that you don't overcome those hurdles that you're faced with. So having passion is very important in what you do.
Abu, with the Venture Network, what has been your biggest obstacle that you've had to overcome?
With Venture Network, being a non-profit, I think funding is always hard to come by. We started this as a two-man team, myself and Wayne Berger. We've since grown to 7 people in total, but it's always been a struggle in terms of funding. We've often had to put our own personal funds into Venture Network to get through certain times. And what we are looking for at this point in time is some sponsorship. I think with any startup, funding is often a problem. The other big problem that startups face is clients. And those are the 2 biggest obstacles for any startup.
So now, if I'm a person, let's say I'm a person who's come from a 9-to-5 job, there's security, there's a salary every month, and now I want to go into entrepreneurship, but like you say, funding is a problem. What can you tell me that would inspire me to go for it, regardless of the risk involved?
Well, I made that very same transition a few years back. I was in a corporate job, looking then to start my own business. At the time, I wasn't quite sure of what business it would be, and I pursued various different ideas. I think the easiest way to actually see if something will work is to do it and to pursue it. Test it, and even if it's on a part-time basis, up until you build it to a certain level where you can then make a decision on whether this is something you should pursue on a full-time basis or not.
It's very good advice. I'll take that on as well. Thank you. And to just end it all up, sum up in 3 words what you think the ideal South African entrepreneur is.
Well, someone that is determined, so that's the first word. Someone that is passionate. And I guess the third word would be some sort of emotional intelligence. So you need to have a feel for the market that you're targeting, and you need to be determined to get through that and show your passion in doing that.
Brilliant. That was Abu from the Venture Network speaking to us about entrepreneurial tips and tricks here on The Big Interview.
Don't miss out next week as we continue to journey with the competition finalists. Our mentors will be back with some useful tips and advice, and we bring updates on the competition. And we talk to yet another leading entrepreneur in our big interview. Be sure to connect with us on social media. We'd love to hear from you. And from myself, Nozi Pompanza, and the rest of the Jozi My Beginning team, thank you for joining us. Goodbye.